Well, that sets the table, and many concerns being voiced by parents, teachers, and students. And we're happy to have our two guests who know a thing or two about COVID safety in the classroom, CDC Director Dr. Rochelle Walensky and Dr. Miguel Cardona, who's the Secretary of Education. Welcome, both of you. It's good to have you here. We want to get to everybody's questions, and they're all ready in just a moment. But let me just start with you, Dr. Walensky. I think we've got little kids, kids under 12. When is that vaccine coming?
Right. Well, thank you so much. So glad to be here with all of you. We're waiting for the companies to submit the data to the FDA. We're anticipating that will happen in the fall. We will look at that data from the FDA, from the CDC, with the urgency that we all feel for getting our kids vaccinated, and we're hoping by the end of the year.
What is the holdup, though? Because we fast-tracked a vaccine, in 9 months, which was incredible for the rest of us, but it seems to be taking longer for kids. The kids are vulnerable. Now we have the Delta variant. Are you frustrated by that? Is there any way to kind of push this along?
So we want to move quickly. We anticipate moving quickly, but we also want to have the efficacy data and the safety data that FDA will require so that we know as soon as it is available that it will be merited. The science has gone through the safety and the efficacy to make sure that it is the right thing for kids.
I know a lot of parents wonder, what is this about COVID? How dangerous is it for my child? For the vast majority of the pandemic, children have seemed to be fortunate. They haven't been as affected, but that has changed with the Delta variant. There's been explosive growth in the pediatric cases. Nearly 27% of all cases last week were children. Maybe that's the return to school. But what about this? From June to August, pediatric hospitalizations increased 5-fold. So my question to you is, what does the data show? Is the Delta variant more dangerous to kids than the original variant of the virus? Is it more dangerous, or is it just simply more transmissible?
Well, I would say dangerous is more transmissible, right? If it is more transmissible, we have more kids with disease, we have more kids with symptomatic disease, and more kids ending up in the hospital. We haven't seen yet any data to suggest that if you get the Delta variants, it's more severe in a given person. But we are definitely seeing more disease. This virus is an opportunist. It'll go where places are not vaccinated, where people are not vaccinated. The best thing we can do for our kids is surround them by people who are vaccinated when they become eligible to be vaccinated.
Larger question real quick. The president early on said he did not believe in vaccine mandates. I want to play him in December 2020.
No, I don't think it should be mandatory. I wouldn't demand to be mandatory, but I would.
But now, of course, that's changed. Just last week, the administration has announced an array of rules that essentially are making the vaccine mandatory where the federal government has power to do so. What changed? And are you concerned that's going to harden vaccine hesitancy?
Right now, I'm really enthusiastic about this 6-point plan. The plan is to get more people vaccinated, to keep people out of the hospital, to keep people from dying, to keep our kids in school, to keep our economy up and running. And I would say that the president is really working with these vaccine mandates, mandating vaccination for over 100 million workers to turn the corner right now.
Have you given up on persuasion? Now it's, you got to do it?
I am all in on any way that we can get people the information they need to get vaccinated.
Dr. Cardona, in Los Angeles, they made it mandatory. If you are 12 or over, if you want to go to school, you must get the vaccine. I think across the country, the number of eligible kids who've gotten the vaccine is about 50%. Is it time to say we're going to it should be mandated in all school districts around the country?
I'm glad to see the strategies that states are taking to really get students safely back in school. And today is the first day of school here in New York. There's excitement, there's a buzz. And it's our responsibility to make sure that across the country, students don't have to deal with disrupted learning again. So in those places where they are doing mass vaccine mandates, I do support their efforts to get the students in. We know it's safe.
Should more schools be going that way?
Those are local decisions, but I do believe, yes, if we're seeing that the vaccines work and they're our best tool, it should.
What's interesting? There are a lot of teachers who are unvaccinated, and these headlines grabbed me. They kind of took my breath away. 13 unvaccinated Miami-Dade educators have died of COVID since the start of the school year. A Texas school district closed all schools after 2 teachers died. One was unvaccinated and the other has not disclosed. So President Biden essentially issued a mandate for some teachers and educators to be vaccinated. That mandate came kind of after school was already in session. Is that too late? And should he right now go further than that?
Well, we know we were waiting for the FDA to approve it. They approved it. We know it works. And we know that it's helpful to keep our schools open. It's unfortunate that we lost educators. It's unfortunate that our students have to experience that. We know what works. We have to use those tools.
As a parent, I would like to know if the teacher who's teaching my child is vaccinated. That would make me feel better if I knew that for sure. Do you think that's something teachers need to disclose?
Well, districts across the country now are putting in testing mandates if they don't have information about whether the teacher is vaccinated or not. And I think that's a step forward to make sure that we're protecting our students, we're protecting our staff, and we have school environments that are reducing the spread of COVID. What we're finding is COVID rates in schools are just mirrors of what's happening in the community.
Yeah.
We need to do our part to lower community spread so our schools can stay open.
All right. Well, thank you so much to both of you.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Find your favorite recipes, celebrity interviews, uplifting stories, shop our favorite deals, and so much more with the Today app. Download it now.